Well, hey everybody. Welcome to our first class. If you had my class last semester, or if you had my class first semester last year or the year before, you've seen this slideshow before. But if you're taking this class to boost your grade up or just so that you've got some interesting things to do over the next few weeks, the slideshow will seem pretty similar. It might be a nice review for you. And then you can participate in the assignments. I think that you'll have a good time expanding your design skills and having a conversation about good graphic design as we go along. But this first bit here will seem kind of familiar to you. Everybody else, we're going to be spending the next 3 weeks talking about graphic design rules, 5 basic rules. They could be broke up into 5 letters. C for contrast, R for repetition, A for alignment, P for proximity, D for dominance. Easy way to remember those 5 rules? Crabbed. Makes me laugh every time I say it. And we're going to talk about 2 rules this week, contrast and repetition. 2 rules next week, alignment and proximity. And 1 rule the last week, and we'll wrap everything up with a project, D, dominance. So here we go. Let's get into it. C. Boop. Let's try that again. Click. Hey, there we go. Isn't that pretty? Look at that cool design. A lot of contrast going on there. Okay. If you're taking notes, and why wouldn't you be taking notes? Here's the definition of contrast. Contrast is created when 2 elements are different. Really different is the key word there. If you make something, say, yellow, and you put it on a background that's, say, tan, that's not really different. It's not going to stand out. It's going to be hard to read. You want to go yellow on maybe black, make it pop. 2 elements are really different. In that example I just gave, the element is color. Let's look at some other elements that you could use. So when you're creating contrast, you can create contrast in type. That's like fonts. You could use a real fancy kind of font that you might use for like a wedding invitation, and then use like a real simple, straight up and down, kind of professional looking font. Contrast those, and you get a really nice look. And it makes certain things stand out and certain things not stand out as much. Contrasting size. You can make some type bigger and some type smaller. You can make an image really big on the page and make everything else smaller. It tells your eye where to look. Look here first. It tells you what's important. And it also makes it interesting to look at. Weight refers to the thickness of lines. So if you have a really thick font, we call that a heavy font. And a really thin font we call light. A heavy font mixed with a light font is contrasting weight, and you get that nice difference that visually it makes it interesting to look at. And our eye is usually drawn to the heavier font first, and then we know that the lighter stuff is not quite as important as the heavy stuff. Structure is how things are put together. So a page might have a bunch of real curvy elements to them, and then a bunch of straight up and down elements. There's that contrast in the structure. It also refers to the way letters are put together. Letters can be real straight up and down or real curvy. They can have serifs, the little feet that go at the top and bottom of letters. They can have no serifs. It's called sans serif fonts. Those are different types of font structures as well. The direction of a page. You can have a very horizontal design that's very left to right across the page, and then you add an element that's up and down in there somewhere. My eye is going to be drawn to that because it's different and it stands out, and that's contrasting direction. And then color, we kind of talked about at the beginning. That's a real simple idea. Colors that stand out, contrasting colors, creates that variety, creates that element that I want to look at first because it stands out. Here's what looks like a very simple design, but it's a good design. It's solid, and they're using contrast to make it readable and to grab your attention. So take a look at it for a second and think about those lists of elements that we just talked about, and let's see where there's some good examples of contrast. So the first thing I want to look at is that headline, Correct Direct Paint and Body Shop. really stands out. The contrasting color, the white on the black background really pops. The weight of that headline it's real thick also, where the rest of the type on the page is thin. Um, it goes all the way across the page. So there's the color contrast. There's also direction contrast where it goes all the way across the page. But then that other type is up and down. You've got that vertical type. That adds that contrasting direction, which makes it interesting to look at and kind of mixes it up a little bit. Look at the phone number on there. There's that weight again to make that stand out, grab your attention. Real solid, simple design, but nice and easy to read. This one is a little pixelated, which is not great for a graphic design class to have this pixelated image in there, but hey, what are you going to do? Sue me. I like this one because of the contrasting structure. Look at all the curves in the design, the curves in the rainbow, the curves in the clouds, but then you've got those straight lines, the rain coming out of the clouds. I love that, and it really grabs your eye because there aren't very many elements that are straight. It's all mostly curvy stuff. Also, look at the way they flip the word anti upside down. That's kind of fun. Even if you're not reading it, your eye knows something is up, and your eye is drawn to that because of the way they flip that contrasting direction. The type at the bottom, yellow on a white background, not really high contrast, but because everything else in the design, except for those few blue words, everything's gray, so the yellow stands out even more. So a lot of good stuff there. This one, simple, not a lot of words, but it really pops out. Red, black, and white. Love that color contrast. It's my favorite color scheme, red, black, and white. Dramatic. And then this one's real dark, kind of like the ocean, got that deep blue. And then you got those colors down at the bottom. The white logo really stands out in that dark, dark blue background. I like that. And then they did that white kind of spotlight to make that whale shape made out of like plastic bottles stand out. And then I've got to open this back up. I had these open, but I screwed up earlier. You don't need to know my whole story about how I made this whole video and then screwed it up, and this is my second time through. But it's true. Hopefully this one records. The red, black, and white. Love it. And these are all very recent. So a lot of them are quarantine related, COVID related ads. Don't touch your face. And then you got like the Edward Scissorhands looking design going. Don't touch your face with those hands. That is for sure. I like the contrast, the way the white stands out on that dark background. This one uses a light background. You've got a white background, but then the red and the dark brick and the flowers and the numbers there all stand out. And then this type over here is really small, but your eye is still drawn to it because of the black on the white. You can't get higher contrast than black and white like that. Not all days are going to be good, but there will always be something good in each day. Oh, that's nice. What a nice thought. I like this one. Oh, hey, did you guys know the new Animal Crossing is out for the Switch? Yeah, I know you know that. Mostly white and black, but then these dark red blocks that just really draw your eye and make you look at this ad. And a little space makes your country safer. The idea of social distancing here, you see the blocks all toppled down, but it stopped because these were far enough apart so that when they fell, they didn't knock the next one over. Keep distance, stop, spread. That's right. Oh man, I clicked on that ad. They got me. Try it again. Aw, here's a non-COVID ad. Tasty mornings, big breakfast. You notice it doesn't even say anything about McDonald's on here. That's how ubiquitous their logo is. You know right away. Look at the weight. Big breakfast is really thick compared to Tasty Mornings. Tasty Mornings still stands out though because it's white on this blue background. The thing I like about this one is the yellow on this orange. These are very similar colors, so they put the white in between here so that it stands out. And that's a good thing to remember as you are, if you use two colors that are real similar, put a contrasting color in between them to make them stand out. Maybe do a drop shadow, maybe do a stroke. Same with this yellow and this orange. Those are pretty similar too. Those would definitely not be contrasty, but they used this dark kind of maroon color there to make it stand out as well. That's nice. Here's one more. Isolated. We come out, they stay. I don't know what this is an ad for. I even read this the first time I made this video and it didn't save. I still don't really get it. It's sad looking though. It's kind of scary. I chose it because of the colors. Look at they went with this really dark grayscale photo, and then they splashed some yellow on there, really bright. They stay, and if this had been up here where it's brighter, it wouldn't be as dramatic but they put it down here where there's a lot of really dark gray and it really stands out. And then this, it's an O, but it's also a square, almost like a prison holding that white dot there in the middle, and that stands out too. Everything else is white, so that yellow jumps out at you there. And then the entrance to the text is in yellow, and then down here their logo has that yellow in it. It's pretty sharp. Like I said, I don't really know what it is supposed to be about, but I like it. So, that's our first lesson, the rule of contrast. And there's a little bit of homework. You've got today and tomorrow. Today's Tuesday, if you're watching this on Tuesday. On Thursday, I want you to hand in this. I want you to find an example of contrast. You could do it like this. You could go find an example online that you like, and you could save it and hand it in on the Google Classroom site. And I'm going to ask you to say a little bit about it. You'll see the assignment on Google Classroom, and you'll talk about why you chose this, why it's a good example of contrast. You also could use your phone just around your house. If you see like a board game box that you think uses good contrast, or a painting in your house, or some junk mail you got, or anything that you think is good contrast, you could take a picture of it, and you could upload that with a little description of why you liked it. Or on Thursday, I will be hosting a video chat. I haven't figured out if we're going to do it in Google Classroom yet, or if I'm going to have a Zoom link for you. That information will be coming. But if you want to just wait and show up during our class time on Thursday, so it depends what hour you have this class, but you'd show up for that particular class period and join the video chat, and you could show your example of contrast to me and anybody else who happens to show up, and talk about it in the chat. And if you do that, you get credit for it too. You don't have to upload it and type out your answer. You could just talk about it. Either way, we'll get you credit for that assignment, and then we will talk about the next rule, the rule of repetition, and you'll have Friday and the weekend to look and find a cool example of repetition to hand in. And this will all lead up to a project where you talk about all 5 rules of design. And that is it for today. Rule of contrast. I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys come up with, and I'll see you soon. Bye.